Well, hello, everybody, and welcome to Lubbock, Texas, the home of the Float Mom and the Float Dad. Here finishing up Thanksgiving weekend, and I want to welcome each and every one of you to the latest episode of Step Chat. For those of you that I've not had the pleasure yet of meeting, my name is Stephen Jones. I am the executive director of Float, of Aloft, of Fulcrum, and essentially the founder of the Floativerse. And so I welcome you to tonight's episode with our live updates, our Q&As, and all that fun stuff. So remember, if you have questions that you want to ask, make sure that you take an opportunity tonight to do so. And please, by all means. I didn't realize how bad we're getting these reflections in here, but there's not much I can do about it. So I know some of you watching have actually been here to Casa de Jones. So this is the enclosed patio that leads out to the pool in the backyard and everything. So it's all nice and fine. And it's hard to see them right now because they're in the middle of watching, they're binge watching various stuff. So there we go. But yes, they're inside there, just inside. I don't know if you can see them or not sitting there on the couch, but there they are. There's Mom and Dad Jones. So there we are. So, yep, here we go. Hello, Terry Widener. Good to see you. Aiden and the whole High Flow crew. Good to see you guys as well from down there in Louisville. We were just talking about you yesterday, as a matter of fact, because we were talking about Skyline Chili. And we were having a conversation about Skyline. And I said, there might be some coming for me at Float. Greg Aragoni, did you get a haircut? I did. I believe I got it last week. It was before last week's episode. So, yeah. So there we go. Let's see here. Sherry Hatcher, good to see you. Thank you very much. Terry, I think I said hi to you already. Stacy Moore, good to see you. Thank you so much. Joette, thank you. Had a good time. Angela, thank you. Amanda, Phil, Mr. Head of Security at Float, good to see you, sir. Thank you very much. And welcome, everybody. So, yeah, I hope you all for those of you that live in the United States, I hope you all had a good Thanksgiving holiday. For those of you that are watching that do not reside in the United States, I hope you had a good week. So there's that. Liliana, good to see you. Cheryl Skorick, another one of our fabulous crew members coming to Float. Good to see you. Thank you very much. Dory Sapol, wonderful to see you as well. And Julie Silla. Wow, everybody's popping in tonight. Good to see you as well. So, yep, we have quite a bit of stuff to cover tonight. Some of it's repetitive. Some of it's new. Some of it's stuff that you really got to know because time is running out. So let's get to that. Of course, the biggest thing that happened this past week was the end of our $75 promotion. And I know some of you missed that, and I do apologize. But there we go. But we got some updates for everybody on that stuff too. So there we go. Jackie, good to see you from Canada. Thank you so much. Hope that all celebrated, had a great Thanksgiving. Thank you. We did. Yes. I know we did. So that was nice. In fact, that's the one thing. I always leave here about 20 pounds heavier than when I got here. Because they just keep feeding me all day long. So it's fine. Of course, I could always say no, I guess. But yeah, it's all good. So yeah, why don't we get to the screen sharing and all that fun stuff. Juana Jimenez, one of our fabulous designers in the fashion show. Good to see you. And Liliana, I should have mentioned that as well. Liliana is also doing a dress in the fashion show this year. So there we go. Okay, let me get to where I can share my screen with everybody here so we can get to the presentation because we have quite a bit of stuff to cover tonight. So there's that. Let me check my cheat sheet over here on my phone. Now, hopefully we won't have the same problems we've been having in the past weeks. Up until this point, I've been able to see all the comments and everything, so I have no idea if I'm going to continue to see them or not. So there's that. But Miss Stephanie, good to see you. Thank you very much for being here. Thank you. Okay. Yep. Oh, that's funny. Mom is watching. So Mom is now in the other room watching the show. So there we go. Okay, fantastic. Okay, but yeah, for some reason, whenever I go to screen share, I lose all the comments on Facebook. So then I have to keep jumping back and forth to see what's going on. So I do apologize on that. But let's get to the big stuff that's happening here. Okay, guys, we are getting dangerously close to the halfway point. We are getting dangerously close to halfway to Float. Yeah, we're talking like getting really, really close. We are 56 days away from opening night. I will actually, for me personally, I think I'm about 50 days out. So I'm actually halfway there now to when I actually arrive in Reno. So that's getting a little bit scary. But we have lots of stuff to do and lots of fun stuff to talk about. And we have lots of things with you. So please stay tuned. Before we get going too far along, we do need to cover some essentials that are happening this week in the Floativerse. We have some very important deadlines and dates coming up that you need to know about. So let's get to that right away. First of all, if you have not yet registered to attend Float, if you have not registered to attend Float and you want to get one of our massively overstuffed tote bags, this year provided by our friends at Bargain Balloons, by the way. If you want to get one of those stuffed tote bags in advance, let's get to that. If you'd like to get the stuffed tote bag and the free t-shirt that you get for being part of the event as well, you must be registered by tomorrow, which is December 1st. So if you want to get your own tote bag or t-shirt, you must absolutely be registered by tomorrow. We cannot guarantee you a stuffed tote bag or a t-shirt at all, for that matter. We can't guarantee your size. We can't guarantee there'll even be a t-shirt for you if you are not registered for tomorrow or by tomorrow. We have to give enough time for the production of these things to get done. We have to allow for enough time for shipping and all that other stuff, so our sponsors and everybody doesn't end up paying outrageous amounts of money to get stuff done. So with that being said, we have to cut it off as of tomorrow. So if you are watching this video, if you are one of our sponsors or vendors who have not yet signed your people up, this really needs to get done by tomorrow. If you are not yet registered for Float and you were thinking, well, I'm just going to wait, I'm going to find out. You can wait. You can still find out. You can sign up after tomorrow. But keep in mind, we can't promise that you'll get a t-shirt or a tote bag. They are prioritized for those individuals who were signed up on time. Okay, that's something that's very, very important. Claudia Moreno, I registered in September, but don't remember putting a size for a shirt. Okay, Claudia, do me a favor, please. Message me here on Facebook, send me a message, a direct message, and then I can look it up after I get off the call, okay? Yeah, because I will forget between the next dozen of things that happen along the way here. FT, good to see you, sir. Thank you very much for being here. So that's very important. So make sure that you absolutely do. Now, when you registered for Float, this would have been the last, like literally the last question you answer before you go on to payment. So there's that. So, well, actually, no, I take it back. The last question is this your first Float or not? But the one right before that is what size shirt do you wear? So, Amanda, that's a JD thing. We will reach out to him about that. Okay. So let's see there. In fact, you have JD's email, Amanda. I would drop him an email and ask him what's going on. Okay. Okay. For those of you that are sponsors, or better yet, let me rephrase that. For those of you that are thinking about becoming sponsors or vendors at Float, the deadline for our printed materials is Thursday. So if you do not sign up as a sponsor or vendor for Float by Thursday, your logos are not going to make it on the printing. Okay. This year, there are 3 different opportunities where your logos are going to be printed. And right now, there are 75 logos on the back of that book. 75 logos. Hold on one second. Sorry, guys. I have a message that I have to refer to. Sorry. Okay. So in other words, if you haven't gotten a booth yet, or you want to sign up for being a sponsor and you haven't done that yet, and you're thinking, oh, I got time, you do. But again, you gotta do this stuff before Thursday, because if you don't, I cannot promise that your logo is going to make the print. It's that simple. Okay. And by the way, 75 logos is the most we've ever had. So again, just another record year for Float. We're very, very happy about the turnout we've been getting this year. It's our biggest in many, many ways. Okay. But that's not the only deadline that's coming up that we need to keep everybody in mind about. Now, this one's not this week, but it's coming up sooner than later, and that is the flotation pass. We have sold just about half the flotation passes. And so if you're looking to get one, you might want to consider getting one sooner than later. The flotation passes will close on December 15th. Okay. So it is very imperative that you, and some of you have asked, why are you cutting off the flotation passes, on the 15th? Again, we're giving a gift this year. I mean, we always do. The flotation passes come with a special gift. This year, the gift requires X amount of time to get. And so because of that, we have to know, and we're not going to order a ton of these. Again, we're not going to order tons and tons of extras. So this is something that we need to know exactly how many we need so we can order them and be done with it. And as a result of which, we need to get it done sooner than later. So keep in mind, if you would like to get a flotation pass, if you haven't already done so, they are December 15th. Now, I've had a couple people reaching out asking, is there a discount we can get on the flotation pass? And what I have tried to explain, and I will explain again, is that the flotation pass is a discounted rate. If you do the math on the, even if you do it by the multi-pass options, even if you do it by 4 multi-passes and 4 multi-passes for the master classes, and then you do the bonus classes and the headshots and the preceding and all the other stuff, not including the stuff that has no monetary value, at the end of the day, you're saving like $400 off of the price of all of this stuff combined. So the flotation pass is already a discounted rate. So no, there's no coupon code. Somebody reached out and said, well, if I'm paying X amount of money for my registration, shouldn't I get a break on that? No, because it's like going to Disney and getting a lightning lane pass. It's very similar to that. You don't get a discount on those. They're in addition to the registration fee. And then I've had some of you reach out and ask, why is this not on the website? The information is on the website, but the link is not on the website. And the reason for this is because what ends up happening is we get people that try to buy just the flotation pass, and they assume that the flotation pass includes their registration. So for those of you that are interested in buying the flotation pass, if you've already registered for Float, you go to the same links that you've been using for the master classes and the bonus classes in your Float Notes emails, okay? If you are not yet registered for Float and you want to get the flotation pass on top of your registration, then what you do is when you click continue, you go to the first page and you pick your registration option. Then you click continue. And then on the second page, that's where it asks you if you want to do flotation. Now, keep in mind, if you are trying to register as a Jam Pass holder or as a Foundation Pass holder or as a Weekend Pass holder, you do not have an option for flotation. It's that simple. So, Miss Stephanie, every time I was hanging pictures and thought I heard flotation. Yes, you did. So there you go. So that is very important that if you're wanting to get one, you need to grab it before the 15th of December. So that's basically 2 weeks from tomorrow. Also, 2 weeks from tomorrow, this is the stuff we don't like to talk about at Float, but we got to talk about at Float because it's a reality. The bottom line is, 2 weeks from tomorrow is also your last chance to cancel and still get a refund. Sorry, my nose is driving me nuts. I don't know why. Your last chance to get a refund of your registration to Float 2026 if you have to cancel. Now, what does that mean? There is a $100 cancellation fee, and then there is the $9 Planet Red surcharge. We never had that anyway, so you don't get that back either. If you've purchased added value options, for example, if you bought master classes, bonus classes, or the flotation pass, those would also be refunded minus any transaction fees that we are charged from PayPal. For example, on a $900 flotation pass, I want to say it's about $30 is what the transaction fee comes to. And so you get it all back but the transaction fee. Okay? Because unfortunately, they do not refund the transaction fees because you've refunded the purchase. So there's that. Okay. I also want to take this moment to remind everybody that we still need headshots. We need lots of headshots. Right now, I would argue we only have about a third of everyone's headshots at this point, which means we are going to be dealing with a hell of a lot of backlog getting badges ready. So we need you to take a moment and send us your headshots, please. Please send them to me directly at steve@floatconvention.com. They do not have to be super glamorous. They do not have to be clean and professional. They literally can be a selfie in the car. I've had many of those sent to me, and that is also perfectly fine. A lot of these folks just had really nice headshots they already used, and that's great. Yours don't have to be that way. In fact, Neftali's is a selfie taken at Float 2024. So, that's fantastic. So there you go. But yeah, so keep that in mind. We are needing your headshots as soon as possible so that we can get badges made. Jackie Young, good to see you. What are you doing in New York, by the way? All the way from Scotland. Good to see you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for joining us when you could be sightseeing. Okay, let's talk a little bit about sponsorships. We still have plenty of sponsorships available, but again, many of those are timing out as well. We have the t-shirt. We have one spot left on the t-shirt, for example, on the back. That will expire like tomorrow. So there you go. So yeah, those are things that have to get done. The tote bags were on the chopping block until our friends at Bargain Balloon scooped them up. So there's that. So we're very happy about that as well. So that orders, they gave me, I got their artwork and it's put together and I'm just waiting for them to approve it. And then it's going to print. So there you go. Getting all festive. Good for you, Jackie. Good for you. We do want to take this moment to remind you all about a couple of new additions to the sponsorship rounds. We have two digital sponsors. We brought them up last week, but we want to give them another shout out this week. Takara Tech, excuse me, I always blitz it the first time. Takara Tech are the lovely people that, if you remember the Qualitex bubble balloons, they're the manufacturers who actually made those balloons. They wanted to come to Float this year, but they're not going to be able to attend. And as a result of which, they turned around and said, you know what, we'll still sponsor the event as part of the digital sponsorship. So we want to give a big shout out to them, and we look forward to possibly having them at a future event. And of course, our good friend Paul Teal from Event Welding, we want to give him a shout out as well. Thank you very much, Paul, for coming back again and sponsoring Float as a digital sponsor. It's a little challenging for Paul to bring all the welding gear and bring all the frames and everything with him all the way to Reno now that we've moved across the country. So he just came in this year as a digital sponsor. And again, we're very appreciative of that. So thank you. I want to spend 30 seconds and just remind all of our sponsors and vendors about the scam alerts. Apparently that's been fading way down, obviously because of the holiday weekend, but I'm sure it's going to rear back up again the closer and closer we get to Float. Please remember, if you are a vendor or sponsor, you're getting phone calls and emails from people saying, hey, we're ready to book your hotel room for Float. Do not, under any circumstances, use them. Use the link that we sent you. That is the only thing. The hotel does not, these are not valid brokers of the hotel. These are not valid brokers of Float. They have claimed both. They've claimed they represent the GSR. They've claimed they represent me. That is not true. So if you get these calls, just hang up. Don't even bother wasting your own time. Just hang up, be done with it. Emails, delete them, and throw them out. Okay, it's that simple. Speaking of the vendor showcase, let's give another shout out to our two newest vendors that are joining us in the vendor showcase. Once again, our friends from Bargain Balloons just purchased a booth recently. Very happy to have them joining us. They're going to be in booth I2 right next to the Decomex booth, ironically enough. And our friends from Poof are back again, joining us. I believe they're in F6, if I remember correctly. So they were actually at Float 2022. They were at the COVID Float. Didn't make the one after that, but we're excited to have them back again with us and very, very happy about that. So looking forward to them as well. And again, just as a friendly reminder, oh, hey, Phil, there you go. Thank you, 37 people. Just want to remind everybody that we still have plenty of booths available. So if you are interested, again, we have record number of booths. We've never sold this many booths before, but we still have plenty of spaces available. So if you're looking to get your product or your service in front of the biggest convention in the United States, at least, and very possibly the world, then we'd like to talk to you. So make sure you get that in. Check us out. You can go to the vendor page at floatconvention.com, see the existing floor plan, see the other vendors that are going to be there, and we can go from there. Claudia, we have gone past that at this point, so I'm going to cover it at the end, okay? I won't forget you. I'll cover it at the end. So hang tight, and I'll get back on that, okay? Okay, now for those of you, this is a reminder. All of you lovely ladies were like, hey, we need somebody to do our hair at Float. We need somebody to do our hair at Float. We need somebody to do our hair at Float. Please don't forget, guys, we got a hold of the spa and they agreed to schedule staff in on Wednesday. So you need to make sure that you get your reservations booked for that. And when I say booked, it means put a credit card down. Okay? Please don't leave me hanging on this. So, hello, Linda. Good to see you. So, contact the hotel directly. You just call the GSR, call the main switchboard, ask to be connected to the spa, and then you can make your reservation on Gala Day, which is Wednesday, the 28th, to have your hair done at Float by the in-house spa staff. Okay. I do want to remind everybody that this year, Float is going to have our very own app. The app is coming out on January 1st. We still have a lot of work to do to get ready, but things are moving right along. Now, there is, due to circumstances, well, truly at this point beyond our control, we have made a decision that I know some of you are going to be very disappointed in, and that is that with the production of the app and the production of the convention guide, with our current attendance, we cannot afford to do both. And since we've already invested a tremendous amount of, well, we've already paid for the app and we have not yet paid for the convention guide, we have decided this year to scrap the guide. I know many of you enjoy the guide. I know many of you like it as a souvenir. I'm sorry, we can't do it. It's that simple. It is strictly a cost prohibitive situation this year. With that being said, our new app that will be available will have not only all the schedules of everything, it'll also have descriptions of everything in there. It'll have contact information for all the vendors and sponsors. It'll have teacher bios. It'll have everything in there. It'll have crew stuff, all the stuff that you could imagine that you would find in the convention guide and more. The only difference is it just won't be a cute little book. So there you go. But that'll be available very, very soon. And for those of you that are sponsors or vendors or teachers watching the show tonight, stay tuned very soon because we're going to start sending you information to where you can get your information added to the app. You won't need to add your stuff about your classes and all that. We're taking care of that. You just need to add your own personal stuff. You can upload your own photos. You can upload your bio. You can do whatever you want to do. Okay. And we'll be getting that to you all very, very soon. So stay tuned. And JD and I will be getting that out to you shortly. Okay, it is time. I finally took 5 minutes and sat down and said, okay, it's time to get this figured out for Float. So for those of you that are unfamiliar, Float and Fulcrum are two different events, right? Float takes place in even numbered years. So it's 2026, and then it'll happen again in 2028. Fulcrum is in odd numbered years. It was January 2025. It will happen again in January of 2027. With that being said, though, during Float, we like to bring them together and we host Fulcrum at Float. So basically what Fulcrum is a series of discussion panels. It's more like a conference. It's a smaller event, right? It's only got about 100 to 150 people. So it's not nearly as large as Float is. But it's basically very, very, very business-centric and focused, okay? And at Float on Sunday, we will be hosting not one, but two Fulcrum-style panels, okay? And these are open to anyone who is coming to Float. We have decided to open them up to everybody after all. So I am thrilled to share with you that we have our subjects, finally, for Fulcrum. So let's get that officially announced for all of you here. Okay, so there we go. So the first topic of conversation is analog marketing, making money without social media. So this panel discussion is not going to be about what to do on TikTok, what to do on Instagram, what to do on Facebook. This is going to be about making money face to face, like how you market your business directly to people, whether it's networking groups, trade shows, that kind of thing. So that's what this particular panel is going to be about. That'll be taking place on Sunday. Oh, Sunday, January. That's really good. So that's January 25th. So clearly I was in a rush to get this meme made. So January 25th, that'll be from 12:30 p.m. to 2 p.m. So it's a 90-minute panel. The panelists and the moderator have not yet been announced, obviously. We just literally came up with the topic today. So with all that being said, there you go. So we're looking forward to that. So if you're attending Float and you think you'd be very, very good at this particular topic, we would love to speak with you about it. So yeah, that's one of the topics that's going to be covered this coming convention. Now, what's the other one good? Well, the other one is an oldie but a goodie. The other one is an oldie but a goodie, but it went over really, really well. And because it went over so incredibly well at the last convention, we thought we'd bring it back to this one. And that is If I Knew Then, 100 Years of Experience, Insights, and Oops. This is basically going to feature 4 different panelists whose combined industry tenure is well over 100 years. And they are going to talk about things they wish they had known when they were younger. Realities of the industry, realities of small business ownership, all that fun stuff. That's what's going to be happening. Now, last time around, this panel consisted of Patty Sorrell, David Williams, Francine Cadies, and myself. This time around, we're going to have 4 completely different people sitting on the panel. And they're going to be talking about their experiences for you. And again, on Sunday, January 25th from 12:30 to 2 p.m. So there you go. If you think that you would be good for this particular panel, please let me know. I do need to remind everybody, however, that teachers are not allowed to be on these panels. So if you are teaching at Float, whether you're a general class instructor, a master class instructor, or a bonus class instructor, you cannot serve on these panels. The reason why is because you're supposed to be in a meeting during these panels. So there you go. So there's that. But we're excited to have that back. And it's an opportunity. We're looking to give an opportunity for some other people to get their voices out there and be heard and get some recognition as well. So I think that's really good. I do want to remind everybody that we are still looking for designers to be in the fashion show. Right now, as it stands, there's about 10. I did get word of an 11th one today, but this particular individual is not yet registered for the convention, and they would be self-sponsoring. So until that happens, they're not in. But yeah, by all means, we are hoping for anywhere from 12 to 20 designers in the show. Like I said, right now we're at 10. But I think it's still going to, I think it's still going to keep, I think it's one of those things where at this point, people are going to kind of trickle in and get more as we go. But even if it's just a dozen, I think that's going to be a really, really good show nonetheless. And so if you'd like to participate, if you're a dressmaker and want in, let me know. Let Pia Guadalupe, our wonderful, fabulous crew member, Pia Guadalupe, is taking care of the fashion show this year. If you know her and you're familiar, you're comfortable talking to her, by all means, you're welcome to reach out, speak directly to her. Otherwise, just let me know and we will get you set up as part of the show. Also keep in mind, however, if you are a sponsored dressmaker in the show, you get a dress form provided for you from Float. It's not yours to keep, it's yours to use, okay? If you are self-sponsoring, then you do have to bring that yourself, okay? Just because dress forms are not inexpensive. We do want to remind also everybody that the Monday night social event has been adjusted into the Float night market, which is going to be taking place. So the vendor showcase is no longer going to be open during the day on Monday. Instead, it's going to open from 6:30 p.m. to 10 p.m. We're going to have fun in there. We're going to have games in there. And it is official. It will be a pajama party theme. So the response from both vendors and attendees seemed really, really positive. So we are going to host a pajama party as part of the Float night market. So remember, if you are registered for Float as an academic delegate, whether it is a U.S. domestic, international, or foundation member, or if you are registered as a Jam Pass holder, you can attend the Float night market on Monday. Weekend pass holders cannot because your passes expire on Sunday night. So there you go. But we're excited about that. We're looking forward to the change there. I do want to update everybody on the competitions as they stand right now. We've been having some issues with the register, the payment system for the Floaty Awards, but I do believe that has been fixed now. Let me hold on. Joette, want to confirm that the night hours are reflect. Yes, I actually did state that. Yes, there will not be daytime hours any longer. The hours for the vendor showcase on Monday are 6:30 p.m. to 10 p.m. No daytime hours. Okay. Um, so yeah, we were having some issues with the payment collection system. I do believe that has been completely fixed at this point. So you should be able to make your payments now for the floaties. Okay. So we're looking forward to that. Remember, you have until Sunday. Yeah, a week from tonight. You have until a week from tonight to get that done. I need help with that, please. I don't know what that means exactly. So, Juana, you'll need to be a little more specific, I'm afraid. Okay. So there's that. Now let's update everybody. We've had some adjustments here. You'll notice that some of these numbers have actually increased since our last conversation. Hi, Nicole. Good to see you. One of our designers of the year competitors never responded to the request of which competitions they were going to enter, and as a result, of which we had them marked down for all 5 competitions. Well, then they wrote back and said, "Oh my God, how did I miss this? I'm so sorry. I only want to be in blah, blah, blah." So the numbers have adjusted, which means there are currently 3 entries now left in the sculpture design competition, which is on Friday the 8th. You get to make whatever you want. It's 10 by 10. Teams are up to 10 people. Thanks so much to our friends at Gemart and Highshine for sponsoring this competition. Entrance decor has been adjusted from 1 to 2. So there are now 2 entries available in entrance decor. Yeah, that's kind of a thing. It's presented by our friends at Elatex and Anagram. The theme is a whole new dimension, which is outer space, 13 feet wide by 5 feet deep, and it must be pass-throughable. It must be able to walk through it. Thanks again to our friends at Elatex and Anagram for that. I am kind of flying through these because we've covered them the last several weeks. I don't want to keep eating up everybody's time. This remains the same. Column design on Saturday afternoon, presented by our friends at Gemar. The theme is the Enchanted Garden. Combinations of nature and whimsy. Again, my best examples that I've given are like gnomes, fairies, humanistic, like animals with clothing, that kind of thing, right? Cute little wizards, all that kind of fun stuff. There we go. Race Girl Michelle. Well, hello from Maryland. Excited for my first float. Yay, good to have you. Thank you very much for being here. Looking forward to having you. Okay, so there's that. 5 feet by 5 feet, up to 5 feet, and then it expands upward. Thanks so much to our friends at Gemar for sponsoring this particular competition. Organic decor, still 2 spots left in organic decor on Sunday morning, presented by our friends at Metallic. The theme this year is monochromatic, variations of one color. So remember, if you decide that you're going to do, say, yellow, for example, you can do yellow, you can do golden, or in this case, honey yellow, sorry. You could do pastel yellow, but you got to stick with one shade. In other words, you can't go into orange because then that becomes a different color. Okay, so there's that. 12 feet wide by 6 feet deep, freestanding as always, presented by our friends at Metallic. Thank you very much from them. Table centerpiece. There is no cap on table centerpiece. We can have as many entries as we want, presented by our friends at Bobaloon out of Las Vegas. So thank you very much for that. They provide both latex and foil balloons. So you can, and keep in mind with all these competitions, if we're being sponsored, you are required to use that brand's balloons for the competition. So keep that in mind. Okay. The theme is celebration of life. You are to design a centerpiece that focused on the loss of a loved one, of someone specifically that you cared about. It could be someone in your family. It could be a pet. It could be just someone you admire. Okay. So there's that. And again, thanks to our friends at Bobaloon for sponsoring that. We have 2 deadline contests that float this year. The hanging decor, which is Monday at lunchtime, presented by our friends at Click Click. The theme is the magic of flight. It can be anything related to flying or flight. It could be a hot air balloon. It could be an airplane. It could be a bird. It could be a pterodactyl. It could be a flying squirrel. It could be a magic carpet. It could be a witch's broom, right? It could be anything like that. You just don't go into copyright infringement. Jasenia, I will get to that in just a moment. Bear with me because that's timing for right now. So bear with me on that. And then our other contest on Tuesday, courtesy of our friends at High Float, is the delivery piece competition. This year's theme is graduation. So yeah, there we go. So graduation, remember, you must use High Float in your design. So there's that. Juana, you're going to need to give me a little more information as to what you're like. I need, 37 people. Like I need help with the floaties. I need to know specifically what it is. I think Dina is trying to help you now in the comments there. That'll be great too. But there we have it. Okay. And again, signups are currently available. Dina beat me to it at the Orange Store at the Float website. So go to floatconvention.com/orange store. Please, dear God in heaven, read the rules. That's all I got to say. Okay, let's update everybody on Aloft real quick. For those of you that are new to the Floativerse, Aloft is our streaming service. We offer over 150 classes, videos, and podcast episodes from some of the industry's biggest talent. Yes, I am very behind on Aloft, so let's catch you up on everything that's going on. Please don't get angry with me about the podcast. I'm working on it. But Leslie's class will be uploaded tomorrow into the system. Leslie's class is done. It will be uploaded tomorrow. We're very happy about that. Carl's video will be done tomorrow and uploaded hopefully by Tuesday. So we will have that all for you as well. And unfortunately, I do not yet have the teacher for December confirmed. I promise you, as soon as I have that information, I will send it out to all of you. Thank you again very much for all your patience. Float is overwhelming my mainframe right now a little bit. So there we go. Okay, let's talk about the more street level content that we have here in the Floativerse. But yeah, Jacinia, I promise I'll come back to that question, and I'm going to come back to Juana's as well, at least for what I can figure out. Okay. But let's get to the Step Chat survey. Every Sunday here in the Float group, in the Float the Convention group, we post a question. Normally it's a poll, but this time around we just kind of made it open. And the question, of course, was, when you travel to another convention or whatever, what's the one big thing you bring from home that is purely for comfort reasons while you are in the hotel? And we got quite a few interesting answers. A lot of it, I was surprised how many people said pillow, like they bring their own pillow from home. There was I think, was it Dina that had a dehumidifier, which I thought was interesting. I'm curious to know if you're flying, if you bring that. That's something. Greg brought tech to make sure he's got stuff to watch or whatever. Lisa McIntyre, of course, is her travel mug, and as we can all testify, that is a big thing for her. Yeah, there was some very interesting stuff. I was afraid that some people were going to take it too. I mean, like there was one that was like money. Guys, come on, what my fear was is we were going to get stuff like toothpaste, toothbrush. Come on. I mean, so I think most of you got the gist of this particular question. So thank you very much for taking the time to answer that. And feel free to put them in the comments here if you missed out on the question earlier today. Me personally, okay, it is a small portable humidifier. Okay, there you go. Very good. Me personally, the one thing that I bring from home for my comfort is a Bluetooth, a waterproof Bluetooth speaker. So that way, when I'm in the shower, I can listen to YouTube, or I can listen to the radio or whatever, music while I'm taking a shower. It just makes me feel, it's better for me. Right? I just like it. And in that way too, I don't always have to walk around with my headphones in, which earbuds drive me nuts. After a while, I just can't. It's like, they're just so irritating. So sometimes it's much better to have that too. Claudia with a blanket. There you go. One of the things I used to bring all the time too, it depends on if I'm going to have time at the pool or not. I always bring a beach towel, like a big towel for the pool. Ronise, how do people fly home with all the things to get floated? That's a great question. We're going to cover that in just a minute. So stay tuned. Okay. Team pillow to get the best sleep. Yep. There you go. Yes, Joette was one of the pillow people. So there we go. I am surprised, though, that I did not see more people with a plushie. I really expected this crowd to have more plushie results, but that's all right. So there we go. So with that being, and of course, at the same time, for many people nowadays with Amazon and things like that, you don't even have to bring it with you. You can just order it and ditch it if you want to. But there you go. So thank you very much for taking the time to respond to the question. I do want to remind each and every one of you that, wow, so many questions coming in tonight. We're going to get these all at the end. Don't forget that Float is on YouTube at youtube.com/@thefloativerse. Because Facebook no longer allows these videos to remain on the page beyond 30 days, all of these episodes are now uploaded onto our YouTube channel. And actually, pretty soon we're probably going to be live streaming on both platforms. I believe we are going to actually start doing this show as well live on YouTube as well. The software system that we're using for this is now more than capable of dealing with that. And so I'm thinking about actually looking into that for multi-streaming purposes. So yeah, if you're on YouTube, we do ask that you seek us out at the Floativerse. Please like our videos, share our videos, and subscribe to the channel, and it helps drive our engagement. So thank you very much. Also, don't forget, if you want to keep up with stuff and you're not on Facebook very much, because I know a lot of you aren't, Float is also on Instagram at TheRealFloat2026. Please tag us in your posts. We'd be more than happy to share them. So thank you very much for that. As long as they're related to Float. We get tagged on a lot of stuff because people just want us to see it, and that's nice, but I'm not necessarily going to share that. It's not to be disrespectful to you. It's more along the lines of just simply, people that are promoting the event. And for those of you that were wondering, no, I did not launch on Black Friday like I thought I was going to. But I will be doing it tomorrow. So the first official TikTok from Float will take place tomorrow. You'll see why. Monday, December 1st. So that'll be taking place tomorrow on Cyber Monday. Just saying. So there's that. So we're looking forward to that. And finally, it's time for this week's Wall of Awesome. For those of you that are unfamiliar, actually, even if you're familiar with Float, one of the new things we're going to be doing this year is we are going to be hosting the Wall of Awesome, which is going to be a positive affirmation event at Float. We're going to have a wall made out of balloons. And if somebody does something really, really well, or makes you really, really happy, or just did something that caught your attention, you can go to the Reg desk and fill out one of the cards. And then a couple times a day, the Float staff are going to take those cards and put them on the Wall of Awesome so that everybody can see how awesome that person is. So let's say you took a class from, say, Alyssa Murray, and you just thought, oh my God, this class just changed my life. So you go to the front desk and say, Alyssa Murray is incredible. This class is going to make me so much money, blah, 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 blah. You write it down, you give it to the desk, and then they'll put it up on the wall. And then you can even go, Alyssa, look what I did for you, right? Okay. Well, in preparation of Float, we're doing a digital version of this. And last week, if you were with us, we gave a big shout out to our friend Brianna Silvio, because Brianna has been out there hustling hard with her students and everything else, getting them to join us at Float. But this week, we have a new face that we want to recognize. We want to give a big shout out to the winner of our We Are Thankful contest. So for those of you that are aware, we had that promotion going where you could get $75 off your registration if you use the coupon code from one of our sponsors and vendors. Well, I don't know what they did, but on the very last day, they came roaring from behind and took over and won the whole thing by a mile. Folks, it's our friends at Having a Party. Congratulations to them. Thank you guys very much for your hard work. We really appreciate it. And as a result of which, Having a Party, not only do they get a shout out here on the Wall of Awesome, but they also get a free 10x10 booth at the next Float 2028. So there's that. So thank you guys very much. We really appreciate you. Of course, we appreciate all of our sponsors and vendor partners that took part. And with that being said, folks, that will do it for tonight's Step Chat slide presentation. Okay, so we have a lot of questions that came at us tonight, which is good, because I appreciate that. So I'm actually going to scroll all the way back to the beginning, and let's get to the ones here to make sure that I didn't miss anybody here. Hold on one second. Just bear with me. Okay, so let's start with Claudia. Claudia's question was, can you explain the flotation pass? Yes, I can. So basically, the registration at Float gets you access to all of the general classes at Float. There's 52 general classes at Float. So if you signed up for Float as a general attendee, right, you get to go to all those classes for free. You get to go to all the social events. You get to go to the gala, right? You can do all that stuff. But there's other added value things at the event as well. For example, we have master classes, which you have to pay extra for. We have bonus classes, which you have to pay extra for. And this year we have other perks as well. For example, there are 3 lunches that are taking place on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. And during those lunches, there's a 30-minute flash class being offered by our friends at Anagram, Vitalik, and Gemar. Okay. With that being said, those are free in the flotation pass. We are having a professional photographer coming in here this year and doing headshots on Wednesday, the same day as the gala. If you're a flotation pass holder, you get free headshots from Float. There is also a VIP function that's taking place in the vendor showcase. The vendor showcase opens on Sunday at 11 a.m. However, the VIPs, which are flotation pass holders and Aloft members, get in at 9 a.m. So you get 2 hours early to go into the trade show. And there's other stuff too. Like I said, you get a free gift. There's free drink tickets that you get. There's several other things too. And that's all part of the flotation pass. But that is an additional fee in addition to what you've already paid to attend. Okay. Somebody registered today and bought both the registration, the $7.95 registration, and the flotation pass. And I think it came to $16.95 when it was done all together for everything. Okay. So yeah, there's that. It's again, even at $8.95, it's still about a $400 savings off of the price. If you took everything involved and added it together, you're still saving like $400 on it. But I am aware that it's a much higher cost than what most people are accustomed to. But there's, it's that kind of thing. Okay, Ronise asked a question, and I think I'm going to have to cover that in a minute. Ronise's question is related to this, but I don't want to miss somebody else's stuff. So let me go through here and I'll come back to you. Okay. So let's see here. Okay, so we already had Joette's question confirming the night hours, replacing the daytime. So again, I do want to remind everybody on the old schedules, Nate, I see your question. I'll get to you in a second. On the old schedules, the schedule was 12 to 7 p.m. for the vendor showcase. That is gone. The new schedule is now 6:30 p.m. to 10 p.m. only for the vendor showcase. Okay, so there's that. I never did see anything from Juana about what specifically she wants to know about the floaties. Hopefully she's still here and can ask about them. Okay, here's a question. Jasenia, this is my first float. How do the teams work? Do you have to put your own team together or do you get placed into one? So if you are competing at float, I think Joette actually started answering this one already. But if you are entering as a designer at float, you are responsible for putting your own team together. The reason for this is simple. If we put a team together for you, if we give you a bunch of people and say, these people are on your team and they don't know what they're doing, then you're mad at us, right? So you do have to put your own team together. So there's that. But to be honest with you, if you go out into the main float group and say, hey, I'm going to float, or if you're a member of the float forum, you can go in there too and say, hey, I'm looking to put a team together and I need people who can help me out. And here are the skills I'm looking for. Is there anybody available that can help me out? That's something you could do too. Keep in mind, this is something that happens every year though. And I'm going to bring this up real fast. Every year, somebody shows up to compete with their spouse. And that's fine until you realize the spouse ain't registered for float. And then the person, but he always helps me with everything I do. I get that, but he's not eligible if he's not registered to be at the convention. So please keep that in mind. If you are looking to compete and your spouse is part of your team, your spouse has to be registered to attend float. Okay. So there's that. Now they can be a Jam Pass holder. I don't care about that. They don't have to be full academic, but they cannot be just with you. They cannot be in the room. Okay. So thank you. That's a great question, Jasenia. Thank you very much for that. Okay. Let me keep scrolling here. Okay. Ronise asked a question. How do people fly home with all the things while they get at float? There are some people. Okay. So first of all, there are some people who will travel with an empty suitcase. So they will bring a collapsible, 37 people. They will bring like a soft-sided collapsible suitcase and throw it in their main case. And then that way, when they're done, they fill that up with all the stuff they get, they bring it home. Some people ship it home. There is a business center at our hotel, which is the first time ever for float. So if you are if you've discovered that you've got way too much stuff and you need to ship it home, you can go to the business center and then ship it through them and ship it home. Of course, those come with various fees and such, but that's to be expected. I do know that there's some people who will specifically just they kind of go through like they'll get all the paper stuff, right? They'll take all the paper stuff out of the tote bags, and then if they want to keep it, they'll take a digital picture of it, and then if they don't, they just toss it. And even if they do, even if they take a digital picture of it, then 9 times out of 10 they toss it. But of course, with catalogs and things like that, it's kind of tough to do that. But I know there's some pretty good stuff coming this year for the flotation bags, so for the tote bags. So I'm very excited about that. So there's just some ideas for you right there. Okay. Julia, are guest tickets available for the gala or any of the associated party events? Okay. So gala tickets will go on sale this week. Oh, I'm sorry, not this week. Next week. I'm sorry. Forgive me. Gala tickets will go on sale. Now, remember, if you're already registered to attend the convention, you do not have to buy a gala ticket. This is only if you're bringing a guest. Okay. Jacinia, I saw that, and I'll get to you in a second. If you're bringing a spouse with you or whatever to the gala, that's a ticket. Okay. Now, the associated party events is a different conversation. Okay. Because technically, those have been on sale since day one. Those are called the networking and jam passes. So right now, Float is offering what's called the networking or jam pass, which I think is $395 right now until January 2nd. And that pass gets you into everything from Friday through Tuesday. Okay. And if you are a jam pass holder, then that doesn't include the gala. The jam does not include the gala. Okay. So you do have to buy an extra ticket for the gala, but that is a slightly discounted price. The gala tickets this year, guest passes are $125. If you have a jam pass already, then it's only $95. Okay. So there's that. But yeah, so in other words, if you have a spouse that's coming with you to the event, or or a family member or something, and you want them to be able to go walk the vendor showcase with you, right? A jam pass, they can do that. If you want them to go to opening night and see the fashion show, the jam pass will do that. If you want them to go in the jam room and hang out with you, the jam pass will do that. Okay. But we don't sell individual access. It's either the jam pass or the gala ticket or both. Okay. So there's that. So hopefully that answered that for you. Okay. Ranice, can someone pay for that when they get there? So this was in reference to the flotation pass. And the answer is no. They cannot, because of the fact that there is a gift involved. Well, it's going to be tough because you have to remember, like, some of the stuff with the flotation pass, like, one of the things that you get is the notebook, and that notebook is full of nothing but the notes from all of the master classes and all the bonus classes in one book. We don't order hundreds of copies of this book in the hopes that somebody's going to sign up at the event. We order basically the amount of books we need. So if we do that, obviously if we go that route, right, we can't necessarily have a ton of them. We might have a couple. Keep in mind though, there's other things you can sign up for too at the event, master classes, bonus classes, things like that. You can sign up for individually now. But also keep in mind that if you do decide to sign up for something along those lines at the event, it's more expensive. See, right now, for example, if you sign up for a master class, it's $99. If you wait till you get to Float, it's $125. Okay. And by getting to Float, we cut off sales like a week before the convention, even. So like if you don't buy them by a certain date, then you have to wait, and it's already going to be more. So it's better to do it when it's cheaper. Okay. Nate, is that the only way to get the headshots? No. We are going to be selling individual tickets as well to get the headshots. The estimated price of the headshots is $100 a person. If you are a Loft member, they'll be $50 a person. Okay. So if you want to get headshots done at Float and you are not a flotation pass holder, you can just pay $100 and get a reserve spot. Or you can sign up if you're an Aloft member, then you get it for 50. Okay. Prioritizing is being given flotation pass holders get first dibs, then Aloft members get second dibs, and then anything that's left gets the third dibs. Okay. It's that simple. So there we go. Let's see here. Is there an option to purchase certain master classes, or is it all bundled together? No, you can absolutely purchase individual master classes right now. Okay. That's on the added value page. So in the emails that you get, the float notes emails that you've been receiving, anywhere that it talks about the flotation pass, you'll see a link and it says click here for the added value classes, or it may say click here for the flotation pass. Either way, that's the link. You can sign up for individual classes if you want to there, or you can buy the bundles. It just depends on what you'd like to do. Not everybody wants to drop $900 on a flotation pass. I totally get it. Some people are like, I just want to buy a couple of master classes. Perfect. No problem at all. You can do that too. We try to make it as flexible as we can for everybody. Mr. Greg Aragoni, please remind everybody of the extra charge for anything being sent to the hotel. And yes, he is correct. Please keep in mind, everybody, that because our hotel has a business center, hey, 37 people, because our hotel has a business center, they receive everything and anything that is sent to the hotel. If you want to receive that item from the hotel, you have to pay them a receiving fee. This goes for Amazon items. So if you order Amazon stuff to the hotel, yeah, Amazon's going to deliver it for free, but the hotel ain't giving it to you for free. That price can range anywhere from $5 to $50, depending on how big and how heavy the stuff is and how many pieces there are. There is a way around this slightly. If you were thinking like Amazon, there is a Walmart directly across the street from the host hotel. You can walk there. It's not the easiest thing in the world, but you can walk there. You could pre-order things at walmart.com and arrange for them to be picked up at Walmart, and you can do that. We're not picking them up for you, though. So if you want to go that route, you don't want to pay the hotel to receive stuff, you can order it to the Walmart across the street, but you have to go get it yourself. We're not running people over to go get that stuff. Okay? So unfortunately, the closest Amazon locker is about 3 miles away from the hotel. And we believe that's because the Walmart is right there. And we have a feeling that Walmart's got some kind of clause where they can't be within so many miles of a Walmart. So there's that. Okay. Good questions tonight. Thank you all very much for that. That's fantastic. I'm going to hang for a couple more minutes here to see if there's anything else, but I will say that I'm not going to hang too long because I have a very early flight in the morning. So I have to, and I still have to pack. I didn't bring much, but I got to pack my stuff up and get everything done tonight. So yeah, but you'll see what I'm up to tomorrow if you go to TikTok. So there's that. But yeah, so there we go. Very excited about that. Hopefully Murphy will be back with me next week for the live show. Here's a good question. Renice, how do I become an Aloft member? Aloft, A-L-O-F-T. Just take the letters of float and re-scramble them into Aloft. All you got to do is go to floatconvention.com/Aloft. And you can join there. There are two particular options. You can join for 6 months or for a full year. 6 months is $80. Full year is $120. Okay. And that gives you, that's so funny because I just shared that one. There we are. That gives you unlimited access not only to the entire library of Aloft content, but it also gives you full access to the live classes that we do every month. So you get to sit on the live classes as well. So there's that. Julie's got a great question. What's the theme for the gala? And is there a color? I saw the other thing too, or colors. This year's theme is a tribute to our friend Tommy De Lorenzo, who passed away about a year ago. The team at Balloons by Tommy, Scott, and the team at Balloons by Tommy are actually designing all the decor, and our generous sponsors are providing them all the materials they need to create the decor. So yeah, it's kind of a big night. And as a tribute to Tommy, everyone is asked to wear an element that is green. Okay, so there's that. And Dina was kind enough to post the link there. So there's the link in the comments, but that is the web address right there if you would like to join a loft. Okay. Race Girl Michelle's got a great question. For classes that come with registration, do we sign up when we get there? I don't know how to sign up now. No, you don't know how to sign up now, and that's okay, because we're doing it brand new this year. Remember earlier in the show, you may have missed it, I don't know, but earlier in the show we talked about an app. This year you're going to be signing up for classes through the app. And that is something too that I forgot to mention. If you are a flotation pass holder, the app, the registry classes open. Hold on, let me pull up my calendar here. I want to be 100% on the date. Okay, so Float Friday is January 9th. Okay, so classes open for registration on January 9th. So if you're a regular attendee, you get to sign up on the 9th. If you are a flotation pass holder, you get to start signing up on February 7th, or February, sorry. You get to start signing up on January 7th, 2 days before everybody else, which means you're basically guaranteed to get the classes you want. If you are a loft member, you get to start signing up on January 8th. So if you're like, I don't know if I want to spend that kind of money on flotation, but a loft, I still get a day ahead of everybody else. There's another benefit right there. So yep, there you go. The app, like I said, the app should be available January 1st. That's the game plan. So there we go. Claudia has got a good question. Is there a limit to the number of students per class? Yes. Different classrooms have maximums. We have 2 classrooms that can hold 200 people each. We have several classrooms that hold 150, but we have others that will only hold 90. We have been trying to we're trying to guesstimate. We're trying to guesstimate which people to put in which classroom. Obviously, there are some classes that we expect to be much more popular. So we're trying to schedule those in larger rooms, but at the same time, we have sponsors that paid extra money for larger rooms. So there's a little bit of play and there's a little bit of give and that kind of thing there. So we've been playing around with that and trying to make that work as well. There's so much politics to all this stuff. So yeah, but yeah, like I said, there's 2 classes that fit 200 people. There are, I think 5 classrooms hold 150 and the other classes hold 90. So there's that. Okay. Runice asked a question. When are the pictures due for the pass holders to attend float? As soon as I can get them from you. I mean, the picture due for the pass holder. So I'm assuming you're talking about for the badge, right? As soon as I can get them, would be great. So yeah, that'd be wonderful. So, because again, we're manually printing all of these here. And in many cases, I have to crop them and fix them and that kind of thing. I'm getting photos that are, then I have to crop the head out and make it square and all that fun stuff. And it takes time. So, like I said, right now, we've only got about a third of them done. And of course, there's nothing worse than getting somebody's badge done and then they turn around and cancel. And you're like, really? But that's fine. It is what it is. It's just the nature of the beast. Let's see here. Just curious how many people are currently signed up for float. Roughly, I would say 625 right now. 625, 650 maybe. Yes, we had that in a slide. It's steve@floatconvention.com. You may have come in I think you came in later. This was actually at the very beginning of the video, but I think you came in later. I think you missed this one. Yeah, you would send it to steve@floatconvention.com. And then that way it just comes right to me and then I can take it and get it fixed from there. So yeah. Or yes, you can, when you get the float notes, you could just click on the link in the float notes and send it back too. That'll be fine also. Either way, either one works. Actually, though, I think the float notes now come from info, which doesn't necessarily go to me anymore. Thank God. So yeah, you would want to send it to steve@floatconvention.com just to make sure. And that's Steve with a V, not a PH. So there we go. Okay. Let's see if we have any more. Again, these are all great questions. Closer and closer we get to float, the more and more excited people are getting and the more and more information we're getting out there. But this is exactly why we do this. This is exactly why we host this show. And whether you realize it or not, we host this show every Sunday. There is stuff to talk about in the floativerse all the time. Whether it's float, whether it's post float, whether it's pre fulcrum, whether it's loft stuff, whether it's 1 million bubbles, whether it's all kinds of other stuff. Yep, that's it, Michelle. Thank you very much. That's it. So yeah, there we go. Okay, here we go. Jacinia, will there be coffee and water stands? The hotel is providing one coffee station on one day for us as a complimentary thing, but there will not be complimentary coffee anywhere in the convention unless one of our sponsors is paying for it. And I'm going to tell you right now, you have no idea how much hotels charge for coffee. Our hotel, we've talked about this before. Let me jump back on this. Water stations, I believe there's water stations in all the rooms. I think that's part of it's part of the service. I do need to double check on that. But yeah. But coffee. Our hotel is charging per gallon $150 per gallon. So think about a milk jug, right? $150. I had a sponsor the other day tell me that I was high. And I said, what are you talking about? And they said, like, how stupid do you think we are trying to charge this much for coffee? I said, it's not me. I said, fine, call the hotel. I said, call the hotel. Call them. Find out for yourself. Now, there is a Starbucks there in the hotel. But the other thing you have to keep in mind is, here's what's messed up about it. I will say this is very messed up. Because the hotel has a catering division, okay? You can go to the Starbucks in the hotel and buy a latte. You can pour that latte into a personal cup and then walk into the convention space and nobody will know the wiser. You can say you brought it from your room. But if you walk into that convention space with a Starbucks cup, they can make you leave. Joette, the fun of working with hotels. Yes, this is the number one bane of my existence when it comes to working with hotels is the food clauses. I learned this lesson at my very first float. One of our sponsors very generously decided that one night they wanted to treat everybody to ice cream. And so they ordered little, just frozen cups of ice cream. And they brought them in, handed them out, and I just thought this was the greatest thing in the world. And the next morning, my sales manager comes out and says, Steve, I heard you served ice cream last night. And I said, well, I mean, yeah, one of our sponsors did. You can't do that. And for every cup of ice cream that they served, which was about, I think, 100, they wanted to charge me $6 for each one. Now they agreed that this was a first time, like, okay, we get it, you didn't know, so we're going to forget it this time, but don't do it again. And it's been like that every convention, everywhere we've ever gone. You can't, it's catering. You can't do it. People think we're profiting off of charging $99 for the dinner ticket at Float. Not really. It's not really. It's amazing how much a chicken dinner costs at these hotels, especially now. So yeah, it's a thing. God, I don't want to be this. I chose this path, right? I chose this path. So I'm not blaming anybody, but it's just one of those things where people don't necessarily know everything that goes into everything. Like, for example, when you walk into opening night and you see the slideshow just running on the screen, right? It never dawns on anybody that it took somebody like 6 hours to make that slideshow because it's for you, it's there. But it took like 6 hours to make it. There's so much stuff behind the scenes that most people just don't understand or appreciate or could just comprehend because you're so used to having it here. And that's why now when I go to places, I have so much more appreciation for what I'm seeing and for the logistics of things and like, oh my God, like it's just so we were watching the Thanksgiving Day parade. And all I could think about the whole time was, my God, like how the logistics of all these people and getting all this stuff in and out and all the little shows they were doing and that kind of thing. It was just crazy. So it's nuts. And my parents were like, they were just watching it like, oh, that's a cute song or whatever. Blah, blah. I'm like, my God, look at that thing. How did they get that in there? And they had to get it locked down and they had like 45 seconds to do it. And this, yeah, very different. So it's very unique, but yeah. Um, so yeah, there you go. But this is another reason why we try to do this show the way we do. We like to be transparent where we can. And, I feel like in all sincerity, when you are honest with people and when you're telling them the truth about what's happening with your event, I feel like they're far more understanding and far more appreciative of what it is that you're doing. So, here's a question. Take pictures? Yes, absolutely. You can take all the photos you want during class, but you cannot video or audio record them. Now, the good news is that this year, every general class at Float is being recorded. We have a team this year that is recording every single class at the convention. Whether those classes are all going to be made available or not is yet to be determined. But the plan is to offer them as both digital downloads through balloondvds.com and offer them as streaming through Aloft, from Aloft as well. I haven't made a commitment to this yet for two reasons. Number one, by recording all these classes, I feel an obligation to pay the instructors for the added value that they're providing Aloft. So, and in the terms of their agreement, they've stated that they're willing to accept $350 compensation for us just recording the class they're already teaching, right? But when you multiply that times 52, that is a tremendous amount of money. And so it might be one of those things where we do, we'll look at the classes that were most popular and we'll offer them up or whatever and kind of go from there, because I don't know that we can do every single class. And if we do, we need a lot more members of Aloft to afford to do that. So there's that. So there you go. Sherry Hatcher, will flotation passes get the digital downloads as part of the flotation pass? I did not commit to that. That's why they were never included. They were not included because of what happened last year. So for those of you that don't know, at the last convention, we offered 10 digital downloads that were recorded during class time. And unfortunately, 6 of them were damaged, flawed, or garbage. By garbage, I don't mean the class. I mean the recording. No, I'm not committing to that now. No. The pricing of the flotation pass does not include, the pricing as it stands right now does not include the digital downloads at all. And the reason we're not making that commitment is, number one, we want to make absolutely certain that we don't have the same problems that we had last year. And on top of that, it's more value that we wouldn't be recovering at this point. We would just be giving away more stuff at this point, which again, I don't think we can really, we just can't afford to do it at this point. It's better to have those for a loft members and drive more memberships into a loft than it is to do that. So, um, so yeah, there's that. But I don't blame you for asking, because if you don't ask, the answer is no, right? So there you go. So yeah. But no, we're not gonna. Like I said, we're not gonna. The original flotation passes at $8.95 were priced without the digital downloads. So there we go. Okay. I think we've covered just about everything tonight. That's fantastic. This has been a great show, guys. Thank you very much. Really, really appreciate you and everything you brought to the show tonight. Thank you. Don't forget, this will be uploaded onto YouTube. To be honest with you, I may even do it tonight, only because I know what my day tomorrow's like. So I may just download it after the show's available for me to download, and then just go ahead and upload it tonight while I'm packing up. But yeah, so either way, thank you all very much for being here once again. Really appreciate you. Really appreciate your time. Appreciate the fact that you take time out of your Sunday to spend it with me. And I'm really excited to have you coming to Float. We are 56 days away. Can you please repeat about catering? What specifically? Basically, okay, so we'll make it as simple as possible for Dave. And no, I'm not being sarcastic. I'm just saying we'll make it as simple as possible. No outside food or beverage can come into the vendor showcase or into any of the convention space at all. Even if you bought the food in the hotel, you can't bring it into that space. That's the rule. Technically speaking, you have to buy it from the catering department. For example, let's say a teacher wanted to serve, let's say a sponsor wanted to have pizza at their booth and give away pizza at the booth. They can't call Domino's and have 12 pizzas delivered and serve them in the booth. They have to order the pizza from the hotel, and the hotel charges hotel pricing. In Chicago, for example, a $10 Domino's pizza at the hotel was about $60 a pizza. We know this because we know this for a fact because one of our sponsors did it. So yeah. So in other words, if you have a beverage, okay, this is what I'm telling to everybody. I do know for a fact, by the way, that one of our sponsors is providing sports bottles. Okay. I didn't say, nope, Sherry, that's different. They are giving out sports bottles in the tote bags this year. So if you were to put your own beverage, whatever it is, in a sports bottle, nobody's going to stop you. Nobody's going to stop you. But if you walk in with a branded cup from Starbucks, McDonald's, whatever, Jamba Juice, whatever it is, and walk in there with that, they can say, you got to get that out of here. They can say it. Now, whether they will or not, it's another story, but they can say it. Okay. So hopefully that answered everything. Can a loft have a Cyber Monday sale? No, unfortunately not. The reason a loft is not going to have a Cyber Monday sale is because I'm being dead serious. A loft is damn cheap to begin with. When you think about the fact that, and let me explain this. Our monthly classes, for example, are $25 a piece. We offer one every month. That's $300 for the year. If you're a loft member, you're paying $10 a month. You get access to those live classes and the entire library available to you. It's already cheap enough. It doesn't need another price break. It doesn't. I stand by the fact that I truly believe that a loft is the best ROI in this industry. I don't think there's anybody offering the quality that we're offering and the price point we're offering. So, yeah. And when you look at the talent that's involved, some of the names that have taught our classes, no comparison. So I feel really good about the prices where they are. $80 for 6 months of access, $120 for the year. If you're not sure, sign up for $80. You still get the same benefits at Float. You'll still get the same benefits at Float if you do the 6-month membership. So you can save $40 that way. But no, we're not going to do a Cyber Monday on a loft. So I might do a Cyber Monday on some of the digital downloads on the website, but I haven't decided yet. And I guess I should decide the next 30 minutes or so. But yeah, so there's that. Okay. Okay. Even more good questions. No such thing as a bad question. Glad to help with all this stuff, and glad you guys are asking now, because there's nothing worse than people who just assume and then they show up at float and then it's a problem. So, okay, guys, I got to get to packing. So with that being said, thank you all very much for joining me here tonight. I look forward to seeing you all next week. A week from tonight, we're doing this again. Again, we'll be back at the Floatress of Solitude outside Seattle. Murphy should be there, so we'll see you then. And in the meantime, go out there and kick some butt. We'll see you all later. Thanks. Bye.